this job is all about auditioning. It really is. Everything else is just the cherry on top. So really get comfortable with doing that. Have that mindset of that is your job. And that'll help it kind of fall into place a little better.
You're listening to the Voiceover Casting Corner podcast. VCC is brought to you by the Voicecaster, the country's first and oldest voiceover casting house established in 1975. The Voicecaster casts thousands of voices every year across all genres, and we're excited to give you an inside look at the casting process direct from our casting team.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Voiceover Casting Corner. My name is Kelly Moshinsky. I am the owner and head of casting here at the Voicecaster.
And I'm Catherine Horan, and I am the senior casting director here at the Voicecaster.
And today we are going to talk about auditions. One of the topics that kind of comes up here and there that we wanted to talk about was audition quantity versus quality. So often actors are like, but I did 100 auditions and, I do 30 auditions a day on the pay-to-play websites and all this stuff. And they still feel like they're not booking enough. They're not making enough money, things like that. So we just kind of wanted to touch on quality versus quantity. So there are probably a million things we can say about this topic. Coming from our side, of course, it's like we feel like quality is, of course, more important. You want to have quality auditions that are paying fairly, auditions that can, turn into more work down the line, things like that. But quantity is also important. You need to be getting the opportunities in order to book the work. So there's a lot of factors that go into that.
So just getting a lot of auditions. I mean, it's great, but it's also, are the auditions that you're getting stuff that you're even right for? Like if you're getting 50 auditions, but they don't fit you very well, of course you're not going to be booking them. So you're just kind of wasting your time. So make sure the auditions you're getting, whether they're from an agent, manager, or from these pay-to-play websites, that you're focusing your time and energy on ones that are right for you, ones that you fit the spec or the age or the gender, whatever it might be. Make sure you're auditioning, spending more time on those than ones that you have more of a long shot of booking.
Yeah, absolutely. How often does that happen where I'm like, people are like, oh, I've done 100 auditions. People always say if you book 1 out of 100, you're doing good. It's like, yes, but it has to be 1 out of 100 that you should be reading for. So quality does not just mean higher paying or whatever else. Quality is also, are you auditioning for the right things? Whether it's the pay to plays or it's some agents out there, they send everything to everyone on their roster and you have to pick and choose what you're right for. So know what you're right for. There is something to be said for that. You should not be reading on 20s if you sound 40 plus. You should not be, if you're 22 and you sound like you're a teenager, you shouldn't be reading on 35 to 45. Yeah. There are things like that. It's just knowing what you do and making sure that you're auditioning for the right things. I know sometimes people love all the practice. That's great to have the practice, but maybe don't actually submit on all of those. Like, feel free to do the audition if you just want something to practice on. But if you don't actually fit it and you're not sending in a strong audition, that makes an impression as well. We get a lot of auditions. It's funny, as I'm saying this, I have like 5 people come to mind where I'm like, doesn't matter what age range is on there. These people, and they sound 40 plus. They read on everything. So whether I'm casting 20s or we're casting 30s or, they read on everything. I see them on every single project and I just get rid of their auditions instantly because I know they are not in that zone. So you're still making an impression. So you have to be careful with that too, when you're talking about the number of auditions and what you're actually reading for.
Exactly. And so much in this industry is such a tight turnaround too. If you're getting 30 auditions a day, to really give each audition what it needs to do a quality read, you're not going to be able to get through 30 auditions in a day and have each one be your best caliber audition. So maybe it is weeding out, maybe this product isn't one I really, some people are anti a certain thing like an aquarium or whatever it might be, weed those out. maybe narrow it down. Oh, maybe this one doesn't pay as well as I would like. Maybe weed those ones out, so that you can really focus your time and energy and give your best self to the ones that you're going to care about and that matter the most.
Yeah, you're not gonna be right for everything. As much as actors want to say, "I can be taller. My nose can be smaller." Um,
We all want to think we can do
well,
everything.
I'm 55 and I can sound 25. It's like, okay, I don't know. So there is some of that honesty, and I love what you said, Catherine, about figuring out which ones you can put your time towards. It's not that you have to spend even more than 10 minutes on an audition, but you do want to do the work to make the choices. Otherwise, you're just churning out auditions. And that's exactly when we start to hear, oh, they're just kind of
They're
doing
just
that
reading
default read that they
it.
do. And that also becomes sort of a signature that we end up getting from people. It's like, oh, okay, I know what they're going to do because they do the same thing on every audition. It's not specific. It's just that's their
Yeah.
read.
Mhm.
So, and that's when people are just churning out the auditions.
And
So,
it can get easy. You just kind of fall into a pattern, especially if you've been doing this for a long time. You just have those choices that you just fall back on. You're like, oh, it's a medical read. Well, I'm going to go into my
yes.
default war medical caring voice. You don't even really read through the script. You just see that it's a medical thing without really, okay, just taking those couple extra minutes, finding those moments, finding those transition points, really thinking about who you're talking to or who this is geared towards. Those little things, that's what makes your audition stand out. And so it's just
Mhm.
you can't just fall back on your default read or just go into auto mode. You've got to really just take those couple minutes. It's not even a lot, just a couple minutes just to give it an extra go over, picking those extra choices.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be time consuming. And once you start to kind of figure out like, okay, these are the things that I care about. These are the things that the opportunities that I want to have and to chase. It's like then the decisions become a lot easier. If you are just in it because somebody told you you have to audition for 100 things to book one, well, you have to audition for 100 things that are right for you to
Yeah,
book.
get a chance.
Again, those are just numbers too.
Mhm,
So it's like, I mean, you could be booking 1 out of 20 things that you audition for because you're only auditioning for things that are really aligned with who
mhm.
you are and you connect to them and, you have strong reads because of that, because of the acting, because of the choices.
Mhm.
So, the numbers are just numbers, don't make that kind of be an end all be all.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that you'll book the 100th audition you go out for. There's no guarantee that it's just it doesn't work that way. There's so much of this that's so random and up to the universe. But yeah, if you're putting your best foot forward each time, your chances are going to be better that you're going to book something sooner or more frequently.
Yep. And I always say, I'll leave you with this on this one. Control the controllables.
Mhm.
You can control how you're putting yourself out there. You can control the choices on the script. Once you send that off, everything is out of your control. You don't control anything anymore. So control what you can, do your absolute best on your end, and send it
Mhm.
out there confidently.
Exactly. Because this job is all about auditioning. It really is. It's not about the booking or the money, unfortunately, it is auditioning is what the job is.
The job.
Everything else is just the cherry on top. So,
Yep.
really get comfortable with doing that, make auditioning have that mindset of that is your job, and that'll help it kind of fall into place a little better.
Yep, absolutely. And love the auditioning
Mhm.
process as much as you
Yeah.
can. Like get your fulfillment and your enjoyment there because the sessions and the payments are the bonus that comes along with it.
Mhm.
But you have to love what you do. If you don't love what you're doing, then you might
Yeah.
want to look for a different job.
Something a little easier.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
More reliable.
I will mention if you are looking for community that shares
Mhm.
all of these same points of view, our insiders membership is amazing. We talk about this kind of stuff all the
Mhm.
time. And it's fun to just get, not just our perspective, because our casting team is in there every day, but also, the perspective of other actors who are going through all the same things that you are.
And
So
all levels of experience. We got people that are new. We've got
yeah,
people that have been doing this for decades, so it's
yeah.
nice to learn from everybody.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode.
Thanks so much. Be sure to check out our website, voicecaster.com or voicecasterlab.com.
Hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Catch a new Voiceover Casting Corner episode every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Be sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and follow us at The Voicecaster on social media. Thanks for listening.